Is there another posture that you'd like to look at today?
I'm curious as to, from an instructor's perspective, which of the postures is most problematical for the students?
Oh my gosh, well it really varies because they're all so different. So if you didn't hear the question at home, it's which posture as an instructor do we think are some of the most problematic? And here's the thing, each one of them presents its own set of challenges. So I think everyone automatically gravitates towards the physically demanding ones, the hit the tiger, the ride the tiger. But some of the subtler ones, like rhinoceros, is tricky, right? Because there's different things going on. So I really can't answer that because what is hard for one is an ace for another. I think just overall, what is problematic or can be problematic is the idea of relaxing into all of these postures because it's so instinctive to want to muscle your way through these. And really success happens with the absolute opposite. So the more relaxed you can be and let gravity, keeping the alignment, those important points of Nei Kung, as paramount, and then kind of letting gravity and relaxation do the rest is the hardest part. Does that make sense? I hope it didn't sound like I dodged your question, but I'm trying to answer.
It was a greater answer than I expected.
Good. And same thing with the Tai Chi form. What is really difficult for one person may not be difficult for another, but moves that people are going to expect to be really easy are often really challenging and confusing and more complicated than you thought. So, same thing for Nei Kung. But I really think if you internalizing the frame of Nei Kung, the rounded chest, shoulders down, head suspended, loose waist, loose hips, deep breathing, pelvis tucked, knees rounded out. It's a lot to kind of incorporate all of those things, but it's not Nei Kung if those things fall off, and you're now just doing a calisthenic. Now I'm just stretching my hamstring rather than, keeping that body alignment. So that's the biggest challenge, I would think, is switching that mind gear from workout stretch to cultivating a body frame. Oh, you're welcome. Is there a posture anyone would like to get feedback on today?
I had problems with hit the tiger.
Hit the tiger, okay.
I kept going forward
instead of back.
I don't know if it's instinctual or just
well, and some of it is
stepping out.
Some of it is finding out the right step for you on any given day. Like I can't step out as far as senior head instructor Fig. My hip is like cement, so it's just like I want to so bad, and my body's like, oh no. So this is one I struggle with because I feel the limitation and it's difficult for me to find the right balance and alignment. So this is one that I work on and I need work on. So this is one of those that scaled is going to change how it looks. And so sometimes what you end up doing with your upper body matches what would be happening with C.K. Chu on the front of the book, where he's like on the floor. But if you're not on the floor, you're not going to have that big of a bend or a lean. So there's probably more of an upright torso for most of us than what we think needs to be happening. So,
am I correct in assuming that letting gravity do the work?
Yes.
You step out and then sink.
Correct.
Into it.
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
And he had a game changer for me that I have trouble with incorporating even now. Like I read that, I was like, oh, I don't think I do that. But it'll change the way you step into this. Let me see if I can find it. So basically, rather than waste time looking for it, there's a lot of substantial, insubstantial happening here. So the inclination is to step and plop into this foot. Guilty. But ideally, you're not. It's just like the form. You root, step, shift. So it isn't like a, you're all on that other leg until you set that foot down, and then you do the shift and the sink back. Does that make sense? And it changes, that will change everything. That will change how far you can step. That will change, he slides some of it though, so he does some little sliding, and we don't have that. So some of it is a little bit different. But yeah, with one fluid motion, shift the weight again, this time to the right leg, let the hips slowly sink down on the right leg, and then twist the upper torso to the left. So he's kind of like shifting, slipping, and sinking. But
So you turn your.
you do, you turn your hips. So there's a twisting in the pelvis
turning
here,
my hips.
and the torso. But what I think what I'm hearing about the going forward, and you guys can do a few hit the tigers if you'd like, but so this is about as, for me right now, with my posture and my knees and my hip, this is about as far as I'm able to
So
stand.
you're 50-50 at that point.
I'm just, for now, I'm just showing you what my stance
Okay.
is. Like I'm here, no, because I can't get back in one. But, so I'm here. I can go a little further if I put on my weight here instead of staying on my,
If you want to stay at.
correct. So here, that's about right, I'm still here, so I shift. Now, because I'm pretty tall here, this is not appropriate. And there's no need for me to lean that much because I don't have that big of a stance happening here. So I would be more upright. This is about right. So I'm sitting back as best I'm able. I'm rounding my knees out as best I'm able. I'm sitting back. So I'm not forward, but then I'm not leaning forward. I'm staying upright and I'm turning my torso. If I were able to sit way back, say that this thigh was parallel to the ground or more, proportionally more of a lean would happen. That looks very good, Mr. Lewis. That looks very good, Mr. Watkins. So does everyone understand that? Like what tends to happen, or what we see a lot as instructors, is this and then this. So there's a big bend and a big lean that's not proportional to the stance.
So it's just a tilt. with the
Well,
upper
it's a turn and a tilt. So
Turn and a tilt.
my hips are here, I turn my shoulders, still have my tuck, and I rotate, but I don't bend per se. Yes, Mr. King, this is very good, but I'm going to sit you up just a little bit. There you go. Feel the difference? Yes.
A little more challenging.
A little more challenging. Right. And so try a few of those on each side, and I'll come around and make a little bit of adjustment. Again, I see the benefit of everyone here having spent a generous amount of time in beginner class because you feel, or make the difference, that the adjustments, you feel them quickly, and you're pretty close. Like there's not a lot of big exaggerations that I'm like, ooh, come up. So, pat yourself on the back. So do a few hit the tigers. Don't wear yourself out. Just find your footing. Hold here. There you go.
This is really hard.
Is it hard? It's good flexibility training then, so rotate, get that little bit of flexibility going. But soften will help you. Like if you're fighting with your own muscle tone, it's going to be harder. So be as relaxed and loose as you can. Good. And you're probably stepping a little too far.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because then it's hard to come back, right? You're like, oh.
Well, even if I can slide, I can go
I've got, when I'm stepping to the left, I don't know if it's my alignment or just my knee.
Okay.
Pain in the right knee.
Okay.
I'm stepping here, and here's my pain right here. Is my alignment right? It just made my knee today.
So you want to step ahead of your knee. So basically, where you step, you're going to want the heel of the stepping out foot to be on the line of the toe. Yeah. So that's part of it.
That's a little better.
Is that better?
I still feel pressure, but I'm not feeling the pain.
So, and then really be mindful of rounding that standing knee out. Yes. Yeah, and then sit back, even if you're not, yes, because you're basically, by sitting back, you take your center out of your knees.
And the pain's transitional. It's only when I'm bent and I'm stepping.
I know exactly
Yeah.
that. Yes.
So I'm not sure if my alignment is off. That's why
So,
I'm asking.
yeah, the alignment was not bad, other than the foot position was a little bit, yeah, I feel it too. As soon as I'm not stepping ahead enough, I get the jab in my kneecap. But then also, even if I'm here, that tuck my center of gravity is behind my knee. So that as I step, I don't ever put my full center into that knee. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So there, that looks very good.
And if that did feel better.
Feel better? Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good, Mr. Payne, looks better. Good, yeah, good correction. You're looking over the shoulder to your foot. There you go. It's okay, you don't have to look at your foot. And may I touch? I'm just gonna set you back just a little bit. There you go. Okay. And yeah, please know, and when we say and look over your shoulder at your foot, it's okay if you don't see your foot. It's not like, oh my God, where is it? You know, that's just the idea. That's the idea of it. So that you want to be able to rotate as if you were looking. You know, it gets a little easier when you have a degree of black session to get a stripe down your pants. You can be like, where's my stripe? You know, it's true tip. But like, imagine looking down the stripe of your pants. You know, because that helps, because it's not a this and it's not a this. It's you know, here. And we can talk about this now that we're getting into the second section. You heard us last night. There's hit the tiger in the moving form. It's tiny.
Yeah.
So beginner students first learning it, they're like, well, how am I supposed to get a big, you know, in the middle of this? You're not. The mechanics are there though. So it comes from a kick, and then the mechanics are the same, but it's a little bitty hit the tiger. But same thing. I got my feet on the same alignment. I'm turning. I'm connected. My hips are sunk. But just know that you're not like trying to do a big heave-ho, Nei Kung in the middle of the moving form. It's like, how do I? This is not working. You're right. It doesn't. So, did that help?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Good. And you know, and just know that these are things that, at least I can speak for myself as an instructor, I continue to work on too. You know, I'm always trying to make sure I'm shifting my weight properly, that I'm trying to open this hip as best I can, that I'm not, you know, I'm not accidentally like leaning forward. You know, don't beat yourselves up if you find yourselves kind of chronically leaning forward. A lot of that is tight hips. And so by just trying to train yourself, I mean, like, I have a picture hanging on my wall of me doing one of my second degree forms, and it was dragging on the ground, which is this, and I was here, and I wasn't leaning, just my hips were so tight. So, and since those years, I've been trying to really open them up so that I can sit a little more upright. And it's hard, you know, but everybody's got a thing that you're working through with your body, and it's a continual process. So always use it as information rather than, I'm not doing that. Right, exactly, criticism. It's information for you to be able to try to check in with your body and make those little micro corrections where you're able to. Alrighty, so any other last questions before we bow out? Alrighty, let's balance our emotions. Path of self-mastery requires balanced emotions. Balanced emotions do not yield to negativity. Path of self-mastery requires balanced emotions. Balanced emotions do not yield to negativity. The path of self-mastery requires balanced emotions. Balanced emotions do not yield to negativity.
Head instructor?
To intermediate level students, students training at home, full access training is dismissed.